racing. So it's kind of a disappointment to put all that work in and end up not being able to race. But we do know that we're going faster, and we look at the speeds this year, we're pretty confident we would race pretty well. So there's sometimes disappointments in racing, but that just means we need to work harder for next year to be ready.
Look out next year, right? One of the cool things.
This is a beautiful vehicle. This is a great year. Still the same raffle. All the money goes to the Young Eagles program.
The Young Eagles program, the raffle sweepstakes for a vehicle. It's always been that you have a limited number of tickets that you sell, and the price is, I believe, is holding the same for quite some time.
Yeah. I feel like this is a good spot to watch it.
I think it's a great vehicle to attract attention, and you should be able to sell tickets without a problem.
So far, the response.
I gotta get a ticket for that. Yeah, so everything's been fantastic. Hopefully, we can love to sell out this year's program through purchasing a ticket can make that happen out here this year.
And that's important too. Taking your time, getting this done, and it's all as important for the Young Eagles program.
It's fantastic. I went through several years ago, and it's something I look forward to every year. Getting a chance to look up and say hi to you.
From the singing of our national anthem as the Golden Knights continue to make their way down, the aircraft continue to circle. You see the jump planes still hanging up high above. We'll see more of them here in a minute, but as Luke said, all eyes to the sky. Watch our two jumpers as they make their way in. You're going to learn a lot more about those various parachutes that they are flying two different chutes right at the moment on these first two jumpers, and we'll get to learn a lot more about that from their announcer here momentarily. Now, folks, you may notice that they're continuing to, and it's now my honor to introduce Miss Lillian right here from Oshkosh with the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright
move to the Golden Knights. There's the de Havilland C-147A. It's, you might know it best as the Dash 8. It's a relatively new airplane for the Golden Knights parachute team. Now serving as their primary jump platform alongside the de Havilland DHC-8 Twin Otter, rather, but there are 6, I should say. Lined up on the south end of the field, and we'll get it going pretty soon. We're talking about one of the first ones that we have lined up right now, the BD-5J. So, the BD-5 is probably the...
way down, we're going to watch to see if he does a dead stick roll landing. It has to be the right conditions, and it looks like it is. This is so complicated to do. The conditions were perfect. That's right, dead stick roll to landing. Eric entering the air show. See the propeller stop, zero power.
Tell us more about what's going on. One of the airship pilots, Eric Herbs, and Dan Smith, who's airship communications gentleman. What are we going to see?
Yeah, thank you. Well, 100 years ago this year, 1925, just outside of Akron, Ohio, an airship took its first flight, the most modern, non-rigid airship at the time. A month later, we would christen it Pilgrim, the first Goodyear branded airship that we flew entirely for public relations. So here, 100 years later, we are proud to bring, for the first time ever, not one, 2 Goodyear blimps, our next generation of airships. Welcome to Oshkosh, Wingfoot 1 and Wingfoot 2. Now in 1925, Pilgrim became the first blimp ever designed to be filled with helium rather than hydrogen. This Goodyear blimp fleet is still helium lifted, but they have an important first. Wingfoot 1 and Wingfoot 2 have a structural change to the Goodyear blimp. They have a frame inside, and that's going to allow them to pull off a lot of the maneuvers that you see here.
As you can see, Wingfoot 1 is hovering now and dipping its nose down. The technology of those vectoring engines allows us to do that. While Doc in Wingfoot 2 is doing what we call the roller coaster pass.
And if you're going to have a roller coaster, you may as well have some rocking and rolling to go too. Joe, can you tell us a little bit about what Wingfoot 1 has going on here?
So Wingfoot 1 is demonstrating the power of our engines. We have 3 Lycoming IO 360 200 horsepower engines driving 2 hover. We can hover all day long, but it has to be facing right into the wind.
You may notice the new coloring for Wingfoot 1. Again, here celebrating our 100th anniversary, evoking the original design of that Pilgrim blimp. And I think, look, did it spring a leak there, Joe?
Yeah, he did. So that's our adjustable ballast. We carry up to 700 kilograms of water that we can dump in as we need to.
Records, about 1,948 were built. They were built in 3 different branches of the military, one for the Air Force, one for the Navy, and one for the Marine Corps. 2 different power plants, one for the long runways at the Air Force had. Now, from there on the right, you can see the T-28s coming in. Now, coming in from a 1 o'clock position, the massive amount of T-34s. And the T-6s coming in from 11 o'clock position. T-28s low and to the right, T-6s low and to the left, and high in the big formation. There should be about 24 of the T-34s. Get a load of this crossover from different directions at different speeds. This is too cool for words. All right, about a 12 plus 6. The Red Star aircraft.
Whoa!
Chinese and Russian closely trained aircraft, the Yak and the CJ-6, they're at the 12 o'clock position. Now, when we turn around, we get nothing but a wall. You'll see that the pageant continues behind you. We can't see it, you can. We call it the Rothenegger Protocol. Thank you, David, for that. All right, so they're behind us now. So the group that came in at our 11 o'clock position, they got first on the downwind behind us. That means they'll be coming in first. But for the deck of an aircraft carrier and the shorter Navy fields, they went up to 1,425 horsepower. It was a very stout, very fast airplane. In fact, the ones with the larger engine were so fast they had to add a speed brake. It was positioned between the wings on the bottom side of the fuselage. The aircraft had a future training environment. They modified it to work in Vietnam. They loaded them with armament here in the U.S., shipped them over from around Sacramento, McClellan Air Force Base, up the gross weight another 4,000 pounds, up to about 12,000 pounds, and they were used by the South Vietnamese as a flying armament platform. Aircraft, the Yak line of aircraft, and the CJ-6. CJ-6 was a Chinese version. A lot of people say, oh, they're the same thing. But no, they are not. You can identify the Chinese CJ-6. It has a definite dihedral as you come out from the wing roof. About a third of the wingspan, then it angles up. Chinese aircraft had generally, but not exclusively, a lower horsepower engine of somewhat under 300. The punishment they took, their aerobatic. Oh, this should be the Epsilon aircraft. These are French aircraft, very similar to the T-34, tandem seat, big cockpit, tricycle landing gear, and an American engine producing 300 horsepower. They had little teething pains right after the development of the airplane, but through a few modifications they in fact. In the world of formation flying, the leader is the eyes, the ears, the direction, the speed for the team. All team members are looking at the leader or the target airplane, whatever their position is in the formation. While you and I can't see it, there are constant minor adjustments to all of the controls, including the engine power. But just minor little tweaks here and there. You're constantly keeping that target airplane on your leader, whatever it happened to be. This action. Over the top, look at this. There are the T-34s. Walter Beech's gamble to replace the T-28, which we have in the air, and the T-6. He actually modified a Beech Bonanza fuselage, something he already had in the inventory. 30,000 feet. Just a phenomenal aircraft. As you can see, the height of the wing, I talked to you about getting on and off a Warbird. You'd have to do some climbing on a T6 and a T28. You got to be pretty nimble aviation mechanic without any specialized needs or parts. Very economical too in terms of cross country, taking it to air shows for display or for work like this. It doesn't burn quite as much fuel. Okay, look to your left. Watch the brake coming in over the other runway. When you make your way down to the Warbirds section, you'll find not only a tremendous pageant of aircraft, so many photo opportunities. You'll meet some great people. Organized break as we get as many of our aircraft in the shortest and safest possible environment. On your aircraft tire, and they will give you specific PSI on your inflation.
Oh my God.
Of course, the years we took verbatim what the old timer said, you need more air, you need less air in that tire. Well, they give you more, the F6, the F8, and the F7. F7, yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Some of them built in great quantity, some of them very rare. So let's see that as the week goes through as well. So I think your count, I think your estimate, Luke Jericho, was right on.
And Danny, as well, something else if you get a chance to go down to Warbirds, there is a brand brand new restoration of a P-38 Lightning down there that has that's got some combat history. And we were talking to Jim Zazas up here, one or two perhaps kills on that aircraft indeed, which is really on down the left because we're about to make things loud.
Hey, by the way, Luke, talking about the rarity of the P-38, before I came here, I did a survey of the companies around the world that sell Warbirds.
Yes.
I found one for sale that could have been had for $1,200 after the war. $6.5 million is what they were at.
Man, what an investment
and
that
guess
would
what?
have been.
They're going to get it.
Yeah, they are. There's
Yep.
no doubt about it.
All right, load to the left. Let's now go to the jet age. Some great stories about this aircraft. It is a big 20. Alex, so you defected from the country in an airplane like this? And Alex said without hesitation, no, Danny, I immigrated. Immigrated with to a friendly country. Twin engine, afterburner capabilities. Full of 2.3 times the speed of sound, or 1,520 miles an hour. People place airplanes in this work. Two kick swim off. Afterburner. Afterburner. 18,000 pounds of thrust each. Now, as Jared gets ready to land and clear the runway, one more story about just before the beginning of the fall of the USSR, Russian aircraft, including fighters like this one, were sent to the west. Then there was a Soviet MiG-29 friendship tour as they came to the U.S. for the first time. The drogue shoot is out. They performed at air shows across the country. Major air show producers brought them in. The Russian pilots and the ground crews were destitute. They left Russia without any money. So they were charging $10,000 to ride in the two-place MiG-29. All that money went to buy food and accommodations for the crews. When the crews would encounter Alex Zoya, who had immigrated to U.S. with MiG-29, they turned their backs on him. They wouldn't speak to him. They were in America for several months, thought we had fooled them with all the food there was in supermarkets and all.
This is going to be the opposing loop as they cross some 3 times. Let's watch for the cross.
Haven't changed, had much to say, but man, I still think them cats are crazy. They were asking if you were around, how you was, where you could be found. Told them you were living downtown.
And there's the third and final cross as part of the opposing loop. Let's put our hands together, everybody, for Team Red Line. Red Line, it's not the thing with his dad. They're the only father-son duo in the air show business. Let's watch now from the left for the two-ship.
Close, close, close. For the hammerhead, red line. Red line.
It doesn't get much better than that. Let's make some noise for Team Redline in the parallel loop and the formation hammerhead turnaround. Redline Air Show is proud to be supported by Hartzell Propeller, built on honor since 1917. It's the flop. These two guys definitely feeling good today. I can see it in the pacing of their flying as they continue to shred the box out there in front of us into this in-trail looping maneuver. The Redline team, one of the most sought-after two-ship aerobatic performers anywhere in the country today. Both Ken and Austin stay busy traveling across the continent, performing not only here in the United States, but in Canada and in Central America as well. We're going to continue to watch them to the left as they dive back in, picking up airspeed, and again showcasing off the superior roll rate control and maneuverability of these RVs in this rolling path. Roll to the inverted. Here's Team Redline and the mirror pass. That's one of the hardest and most uncomfortable maneuvers for the flight leader as he now rolls back. Team Redline with love, it's the heart in the sky. The Redline team would like to extend a very special thank you to
Congressmen were used, however, but when the airplanes get into the air, and I think that's going to be tomorrow, I don't think they're going to, I think they're repositioning for the flight tomorrow. I'll tell you a bit about the history of the aircraft. Thanks to the generosity of Rod Lewis, the legend, all four of the aircraft owned by that great man are being shared with us here today. We are positioning aircraft to be in the air and ready for an airborne start. And then we go into racing 251. The racers with very distinguishable paintings. See a race number 9 that is owned by that broke records. Back in the day, there were two races. One was a cross-country race, that was the Bendix race. And one was a closed course race, that was the Goodyear race, generally from the west coast of Cleveland. And then the closed course race was also at the center of Steam back in those days. Cleveland, Ohio. World War II had finished, and the racers were coming back and usually using a high-performance pursuit jet, aircraft that you know as fighters today. They were surplus, they were inexpensive. The British pilots did a lot of modifications on them. Some of the factory pilots raced them. The racing, the ones that dominated were the Bell racers and the Corsairs at different horsepower settings. What we're going to do is do a little demonstration of racing. You know, we had 59 years of racing back in 2023 at Reno, Nevada. We had been there since 1964. Conditions such that we just couldn't do it anymore. But rather than lay down and quit, our leader, Fred Telling, and all his great staff said, we're not going to quit air racing. So, 13, 14. Clay Lacey, raced by Clay Lacey for 55 years. Now a little mock pylon turning with those aircraft. Now Warren Peach, way back when, an IAC chapter way back when. All of his sons were air show pilots. Al was a tremendous air show pilot. Warren Peach at age 10 was doing pencil sketches of the airplane that he is flying now. Decades later, through hard work, that helped his feet. We're going back in time. He took it to the home of Jimmy Stewart this year. Indiana, Pennsylvania. That's the American way. All right, Vicky, looks like she's working again on Warren Peach. That airplane was coated with multiple coats of paint. There was not doing well in her new airplane, the P-51D model. So you're looking at great history here. The history that goes into. Thank you, Warren Peach, for your dedication. Thank you for your hard work. Coming around the turn, this is what it's going to look like in Roswell with these two and 6 more airplanes around them, 50 feet off the desert floor, 500 miles an hour, just one of the 6 classes. It looks like Warren held on to the lead. Vicky's coming to the outside. The pylon is air show center. And I think she's got a clean pass. Warren is bound to say, the world be with us at Roswell, September 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. A lot of EAers will be there. Paul was alive. He was there with us. Created into a reality. It's a great award-winning Warren Peach. 4-point precision. If you get a chance, and you will, to get this airplane up close and to learn the history of it, it's absolutely amazing. The FedEx got the idea for this color on his FedEx airplane. Warren.
Zero in for the teleport from the west, going.
Hawk 1, this is Badger. We're still taking contact. Call ready for 9975 Alpha. Cleared Hawk 1. Cleared Hawk 2. Hawk 3 is up and in from the 2. Cleared Hawk 3. Cleared Hawk 4. Hawk Badger requests immediate reattack 30 millimeter.
Hawk 0 will be in 30 seconds. Great touch.
Continue. out 1. Cleared out 2. Cleared out 4. Hog 1, good effects, good effects. Request an immediate reattack with bombs. Danger close. GFC initials, Foxtrot, November, Oscar.
Foxtrot, November, Oscar. CFC initial. We'll be in for the danger close bomb. Hog 01, up and in.
Cleared out 1. Cleared out 2.
Hog 3, coming in.
Hog flight, good effects, good effects. Request additional show of force to deter enemy reattack.
Hog 01, woke up. There'll be a show of force from the south.
The Mighty Hogs from the 104th Fire Squadron have decimated the enemy machine gun position. They will now conduct a show of force from the south to north to deter infirmary. Badger. Mission successful. BDA has enemy machine gun position neutralized. Cleared RTB. Thanks for the work.
Hog clear for the RTB. Attack.
Powered by PonyPay, enabling businesses to accept any form of electronic payment free of charge, including all major credit and debit cards. Contact them today at ponypay.net. Expect more when you partner with PonyPay. Now, we do have those A10s coming back from the right, so get those cameras ready. Nice four-ship photo flight coming by.
Hey, Lunar, if you don't mind me jumping in here real quick as the A-10s work their way around. I know that Rob Lowe mentioned it quite a bit, but for those of you who don't know, the A-10's days are a bit numbered. It's a bleak statement, but all good things do come to an end. Last year was, in fact, the final year for the A-10 Thunderbolt 2 demonstration team that's based out of Davis-Monthan Air Force Base. It was the final year for the A-10 demo, and few Air Guard units are still operating the A-10. Active duty service dwindling out almost daily. We were talking with the Fight Nose with the 175th Wing, and something that'll be retired here within the next year or two. High-angle strafe runs utilizing the EAA AirVenture Gatling gun, and capable of carrying over 1,000 rounds of 30mm ammunition, with the ability to fire those particular shells the size of soda pop bottles at a very, very rapid rate. It's essentially just the final. And the HC-130
Jet
love this airplane, and affectionately because of those General Electric turbofan engines out there. They're smokeless, a lot more, I should say, quieter than comparable engines, making the aircraft harder to hear, allows it to back. And it's so large that the designers, the fuselage, had to be modified to fit around that cannon. And when viewed head on, you'll actually find that the nose landing gear is offset a bit in order to accommodate it. In addition to its mighty galleon Avenger Gatling gun, the A-10 can carry a variety of air-to-air and air-to-ground weapons, and even one A-10 was accredited to an air-to-air kill back in 1991 when it destroyed a utility helicopter with its cannon. And with two A-10s working together, enemy forces should expect to be equipped with firepower every 10 to 15 seconds. For many, many years, indeed, and several decades, the A-10 played an integral role by providing that necessary
Listen to that sound of the very first jet engine on an aircraft. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the very first, the world's first single-engine jet fighter takeoff. It is the oldest jet fighter. The simplicity of the design allowed this aircraft to boast many Vampire. The Vampire continued with its first in July of 19 in just this type of jet. With a full load of fuel, this aircraft has a range of 1,220 miles with a surface ceiling of 42,800 feet. Its rate of climb, pretty good on a 1941 engine. Jerry Conley in Bamford. Jerry has just noted to the Aerobats that
Skip Stewart. Where they have a fighter demo take place, and then something on the opposite spectrum of aviation. The U.S. Marine Corps' F-35B demo will close out our show. Jerry's just touching down right now to show some. Makes his way back in. To date, he's flown nearly 100 different types of aircraft, ranging from the B-29. In fact, he's very few people who has flown the B-29 dock. He's also been a great flight instructor. Hours and
Gardner Aviation Insurance, Vegan Fighters Restoration, and our good friends at Hartzell Propeller. A few of Matt's other sponsors include quality aircraft accessories, AC Entertainments. Watch this. Journey past the Alpha Pulse and Youngkin's signature. Your white smoke is definitely making a scene in the sky. Alright, he's coming back around for a nice slow pass. This airplane was built in 1945, or actually 1945. The airman transferred ownership to the U.S. Department of Commerce, who served as the transport systems. Champion Aerospace's first securing aviation. Matt's setting up for his photo pass. You'll see him passing right in front of you from left to right, north to south. So it's a great opportunity to see Matt's airplane as he makes the photo pass. You can see it. Let's give a big round of applause to Matt Youngkin and his twin Beach.
The crew for today's demonstration is Captain Darren Gelson, Call Sign Slick, Lieutenant Colonel Tom Wagner, Captain Nate Schimmel, and your hometown Wisconsin gal, Staff Sergeant Jackie Marmolia. We are based at Joint Base Charleston, South Carolina. It's designed to optimize the capabilities of C-17, yet maintain enough redundancy to protect against a wide variety of failure conditions. Another feature of this amazing flight control system is that the aircraft can also be flown in entirely mechanical backup mode, further safeguarding against abnormal situations. As the aircraft approaches from your right, notice the upturned wingtips or winglets. These decrease aerodynamic drag and increase fuel economy. Giving you a better idea of the aircraft's overall size, the winglets are nearly 9 feet tall. The wingspan is roughly 170 feet. The tail is over 5 stories tall, and fully loaded, it weighs over 580,000 pounds. Now, none of our flying in the Air Force would be possible without our maintainer situation.
I'm talking about your shutter.
non-stop, biggest air-to-air capability. Air Force personnel routinely fly 24-hour missions. The most basic crew complement required to operate a C-17 is merely 2 pilots and 1 loadmaster. The heavy-duty as the back anchor look just aft of the right wing, and you will see our loadmaster
No
master
way.
portfolio directing the crew.
No way! Oh my gosh. It's going backwards.
Here at AirVenture 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your C-17 East Coast Demo Team!
Oh my gosh.
All the maneuvers you have seen here today are examples of those flown by our operational air crews on a regular basis, as they provide a highly responsive and flexible airlift capability.
Northbound over the northwest for about 25 minutes. Get ready to come in here and show off a quiet electric aircraft, all electric with lithium-ion batteries in the belly.
So tell me a little bit about who is piloting our aircraft.
Up in the air there is Chris Caputo, call sign Pooter. He's a former F-16 and A-10 driver. He flew for organs ultimately. So this aircraft was designed to move organs efficiently between hospitals and to hospitals. So this is the CTOL version, the conventional version, but we also have a vertical takeoff and landing version, all electric aircraft, purpose designed to move cargo logistics and medical stuff.
So you said CTOL. For those of us who are newbies to this world, what does that mean?
Conventional takeoff and landing. So this aircraft goes airport to airport. Its little sister goes helipad to helipad, all electric.
Tell us a little bit more about the equipment behind this, the electrical. What does that mean for us who are interested in beta?
So that aircraft is powered by a 575 horsepower, all electric.
To bring in the thunder and noise that we've been waiting for all day with those 6 big piston-driven aircraft. Now, it's going to sound a little bit like a couple of B-17s flying in because it's the exact same engine. Mick Thornton and Dan Kirkland. On his right wing, Dr. James Kelly, and in slot, Mr. James Roll. Instrument flying, ground attack missions, and aircraft carrier operations. That right wing out there has also used by the Republic. This single engine on this aircraft has a max speed of 343 miles per hour. Not quite as fast as that de Havilland jet that you saw, but it's the same era of technology. dog. Landing after him is Mr. James Ross. And next, Mr. Paul Walters. You want to give a special shout out to his wife, Mr. Walters, Bo Palmer, former body surgery nurse. Don't want to be management, and I really appreciate her help. And of course,
All the way here to Oshkosh. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Skip Stewart.
Oh my gosh.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome a young man from Memphis, Tennessee, who's going to put on a nice, gentle aerobatic demonstration for you. I don't think so.
Well, how about that, Oshkosh? Knife edge flight down the length of the runway is only Skip Stewart 2013 Bill Barber Award for Showmanship and the Art Patrol Award in 2015. Two of our highest air show awards, and you're seeing right here as he is down on the deck. You're seeing why. Watch closely because he takes this custom-built Prometheus 2 aircraft through its paces. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Skip Stewart. Right here, ladies and gentlemen, as the energy bleeds off, Skip not only stands on the rudder, he keeps rotating the aircraft all the way. Now watch right here, invertedly, gravity's trying to throw him right out of that airplane, and only Skip Stewart can do what he's doing right here. Ladies and gentlemen, watch this as he pulls the stick back over the top, a little bit of a snap roll, and Skip Stewart showing you what it's like to take Prometheus through its paces. The Skip climbs high to the left. He built this custom aircraft all himself. It's named Prometheus, which means forethought. Prometheus was a rebel titan who displeased Zeus by taking him and giving him the people, the power, and the fire of earth. The name is pleasing routine. Ladies and gentlemen, watch right here. Skip bringing it to you right at Show Center. Skip modified it to become the air show machine he envisioned. It looks like an American hot rod. The horsepower was increased to 400. The big screen blade is probably right here with oversized racing slicks, and the landing gear makes it look fast just sitting on the ground. And the paint job, as you see him go inverted right there, it just screams street rod. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Skip Stewart. Watch as he climbs over the top of this inverted loop. Stall speed of only 58 miles per hour. As he accelerates and turns that altitude into energy, the aircraft accelerates to over 200 miles per hour. Propeller-driven airplane hover. Well, they are about to right now. We're on roll. Oshkosh, let's give Skip Stewart a huge round of applause. He's putting it out there for you. His ability to fly that airplane in knife-edge flight where the fuselage actually becomes a lifting portion of the aircraft. He's going to continue to roll and twist up there as he builds the energy and excitement. If you direct your attention to the runway, you'll notice it's Mr. Skip Stewart. He's getting a good look at those ribbons, and watch what he does when he comes back around. Only Skip Stewart can do this here this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, from the right, here There it is. Get your cameras out. Oh my goodness. So I heard somebody down here in front yell, oh, he missed them. Well, that wasn't what he did. He actually flew under them. If you didn't catch that, now watch, he's turned the smoke on. That Skip signal to the flag holders that here we go. And Skip comes through. Come on, Oshkosh, how about that? Skip Stewart cut those ribbons, all three of them, inverted, 200 miles an hour, and look at the pole. There's still another ribbon that was a mere 4 feet lower than the other one that is still intact. Well, Skip in no way is going to be done this afternoon with leaving any ribbons. And that's with tons of energy and excitement. Ladies and gentlemen, Skip Stewart, watch him right here. 11 captain. Ladies and gentlemen, from the right, keep your eye on him. Let's see what he does right here. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Knife edge flight for number 2. Knife edge the other way for number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, he got them all. How about that? Now, I want you to look close as he comes back around. Take a look at this aircraft. There are pieces of those green ribbons hanging off of the airplane. You don't think that's exciting being down low?
Demonstration of the F-35B Lightning II. Gentlemen from high and overhead, I give you your United States Marine Corps F-35B Lightning II. From the right, Major Johnson is now setting up for a minimum radius turn at show 6. Altitudes in excess of some 40,000 feet. Its fly-by-wire flight control system provides for extreme agility. Get your cameras ready now as the F-35 will be approaching from our left, just under the speed of sound. From behind and to the left, the F-35B in the high speed. range without detection. Inbound from the... approaches, you will notice how the aircraft almost appears to drift through the sky, showcasing the aircraft's ability to change its energy vector. Inbound now from the left, the F-35B is a tactical pitch. Take a look now to the left as Major John works to configure the stall point.
hot? I don't know. It's like longer. Maybe I'm hallucinating. Maybe it's just the paint. It looks a little stretched. I wonder if they have a different nose or something on it. It's the same two-seater. He doesn't have the tip tanks. It does not. That might be what's doing it.